Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Sprawl Prep. So, we have a task before us today, my friends. We have a task before us in that we have to prep a new kind of mission. There's a whole other kind of mission that the players are going to be going on this time, in which they are going to attempt to strike back at a particular corp and mess it up so that, you know, they stop chasing the players around. We're looking at the Krug clock here. The Krug clock is very high. So in taking this mission, they're going to attempt to lower that clock. So what I need you to do is help me figure out how that's going to go. Because as usual, I come to the table kind of with nothing but the game in my head. And, well, that's where you're at too, I assume. So let's talk about that. I'm gonna clear my screen here because all this stuff can go. I guess I can keep the legwork and the mission clock because they're still gonna exist. We're just gonna rewrite them. So let's clear these up a little, and then we'll leave them as a framework for the next one. Start prepping your cyber brains, thinking about where we could strike back at Krug. And then we'll talk about how this mission is going to be different. We'll talk about the ways in which structurally this is going to be different. And ways, I guess, that it's going to be the same. So killing off these notes. There we go. All right. So these are ready for us to repurpose. The directive, same thing. When you accept and complete, you'll get the business there. There's no cred staked, so I'm just gonna clear this because again, this is another factor of things that I use every time. And then let's clear all this GM overlay stuff that I've got down here. Okay, so if you don't have the cash or you value your rep more than your life, you can attempt to fight back against a corporation. The best options are to find out what they know about you and erase or destroy that information, or to attack their balance book and make it too expensive to pursue you. Either way, those are missions. Normally, you won't get paid for these missions, but hitting the street creatively may change that. All right. So that makes sense. That's a thing that we can do. We are going to have on our team an infiltrator, a soldier, a tech, and a killer. Infiltrate, kill, something to do with technology, soldier to tie it all together. So pretty straightforward mission as they usually have been for these guys. And otherwise, we just treat it like putting together a regular mission. Freyr and the Combinat are both above 2100, so actively gunning for them. So this mission probably will not come from the Combinat or from Freyr. I'm thinking that the source of the mission might be Show Nintendo Onisoft, but we'll see. Krug is like ready to roll. It's ready to rip on them. Basically, they're after them. So that's why this mission is even happening. Now, what's interesting about this mission, though, is that I can continue to advance the clocks during the mission. So at any time, the Krug clock can hit 2400, they can hit, or 0, it can hit 0, and I can just drop bombs, right? I can hit them as hard as I want. So it's a bit tricky for us because let me see what happens. Let me look at the corporate clock, because if we look at that, it should give me some indication of what to expect when that rolls over, right? So countdown clocks. When the clock strikes midnight, let's see. I can just make as hard a move as I want, like blow up their house, you know, go like real hard on them. And I can advance it as is necessary. So this is the knife's edge here. You know, fighting back against this corporation is dangerous. So the trick is that if they hit 0, the clock, rolls back to 0 or it rolls back to the beginning again? Let me take a look. how close it is to noticing them, progress towards a goal, corporate clocks. Usually takes place in the retaliation phase. Yeah, I don't see any clear indication of what happens when the corporation clock rolls over. I assume that it's a clock, so it goes all the way around. But that I don't know. Cuz it's going to happen like pretty much unless they're very careful. So, I guess what'll happen here is that it'll roll over and then, but if that resets the clock, then it means what is the mission that they're going on? You know? I'm not really sure what to do with that. Well, let's not worry about it right now. I can always just hover the problem is I don't want to hover the clock. I want to use it. Anyway, so point being here, someone will give them an opportunity to go after Krug, a weakness, something like that. Which is fine. We'll come up with those. I just want to make sure that I've got the situation here. Okay, well, let's think about how we can do this. So what I need to do, just like usual, is look at the kind of mission that this might be. Now, it makes sense for it to be destruction, wet work, extraction, like any kind of aggressive, like we are going to steal something from you. We're going to put the hurt on you. And that hurt either needs to be like step back, or we're going to hurt you some more, or it needs to be like we've already hit you and you've lost trail of us, right? The payoff is you can't find us. And I want another corporation to manipulate the PCs into doing this. I want them to nudge them in the right direction, right? I want another corp to be like, oh, we hear that you know they're after you. Maybe here's an opportunity, which I guess would mean that. Yeah, let's think about some ways. Let's think about some ways that Show Nintendo, Onisoft, and Krug might be coming after each other. Because if we remember, Show Nintendo, Onisoft is all about assassination and sabotage, as part of their larger kind of situation, and then Krug, they've got some like military heavy mining like shit going on there too. So maybe like something to do with like a proxy war. Maybe we can leave the Megaplex. Maybe we should go somewhere else for this. Yeah. But the corporation isn't giving them a mission. They're not paying them. Someone's just dropping hints, right? They're like, hey, so here's the thing that you might want to know about. This is like a personal favor someone is going to do for Neat. I think that Neat, if we use Show Nintendo Onisoft, it comes through Neat. It's not a mission, right? It's just, here's a way in which they are weak. You can go after them. And I think that the easiest or clearest thing here would be like a server farm or something, some kind of like, yeah, something that holds data about the characters. Oh no, you know what we could do? This could come from, yeah, I like this. This could come through from, one of Dave's like hacker friends. So one of Neat's contacts mention like seeing them somewhere in the Matrix, like seeing information about them in some like deep database thing, and tells them like, hey, here's like a location where if you hit this, if you can blow this server farm, they'll lose that information. Maybe something to do with like a backup schedule. Yeah, contact at Show Nintendo that's like personally looking out for Neat. Okay, I like that. All right, so let's start making some notes. So a friend, no, there we go. A friend of Neat's. Let's name this person. Yeah, who are Neat's contacts? Because I'd rather bring someone in than create someone new. Oh yeah, Mr. Blank. Yeah, okay, Mr. Blank. Tells Neat about some data on him and his friends in the crew database stored at a particular server farm. There's an opportunity to hit that farm during a backup cycle to drop the data. So that's the opportunity. It comes from Show Nintendo. Yeah, well, what I'm saying here is that there's an opportunity. The reason that this opportunity comes up at all is that there is only one copy of this data because it's secure and sensitive, right? It's probably not it's not something they want to spread out through the whole network. And also the point is they're exploiting a mistake. Like obviously I get it. I get that it's standard industry practice to keep multiple backups, but this isn't standard industry stuff, right? Keeping multiple backups exposes you to shit like war crimes tribunals. It's seclusion and secrecy. It's yeah, they're planning to assassinate the players. And so this is not okay. And so it's something here. And also in addition, like the real reason I think, because no one ever does things for their own good. The real reason here is that the Krug server also contains sensitive Show Nintendo Onisoft data stolen. So the idea here is that Neat was actually in this database trying to get that SOS data back, but failed. Couldn't do it, right? He couldn't do that. And so he's actually trying to get Neat to go blow up the farm to cover his own ass, which will also present an interesting situation where when they get in there, they can potentially steal something valuable. But if they do, they're directly screwing Mr. Blank over. So it's creating a little triangle here. So the triangle is Mr. Blank is being threatened by his own employers because he fucked up. He's trying to use the PCs to cover that mistake. And then the PCs can screw over Show Nintendo. But if they do that, then it blames Mr. Blank, and this you might lose him as a contact. He might get killed, that kind of thing. Yeah. So Alex went looking for me, and apparently there's no indication whatsoever when the clocks roll over. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just hit midnight and stay there, and we just keep making hard moves. They're on full alert. The PCs are hunted. We go into like they need to run and hide. I like that. That's the best answer, where the clock just fills and stays full. Perfect. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. You just have to deal with it, or they're going to be up your ass the whole rest of the universe. Okay, so if the PCs hit the farm, Blank's ass is covered. If they steal the SOS data, he's FUBAR. So that's cool. That's a great tension. I like that between the personal and the corporate. Because this person comes to Neat and is like, hey man, I'm helping you. I know you're in trouble. Krug's after you, man. But they store their personnel files. Okay. All right. So let's talk about how to make this happen. Oh, hold on. I got to make a new folder. I just realized. Because our friend Flamingo goes into it. There we go. Okay. So let's talk about, we need to know where this server farm is. And we need to know, I need to know what its like defenses are. I don't want this. I guess the thing is, I don't want this to be as gosh, I don't want it to be so like the same mission, right? Like hit a isolated target, blow it up. Yeah, you did it, right? Like, so what can we do to make this feel different? Oh, hang on. Let's Johnny Mnemonic this shit. Let's totally Johnny Mnemonic this shit. So, maybe it's not a server farm. Maybe it's just a server. And maybe that server is a person. Yeah. The server is a person. They don't know this yet, but their information is being stored in a Krug employee. And this person doesn't know, right? It's totally, the server is a person. And that's why Mr. Blank, what does Mr. Blank know? Mr. Blank knows that the IP changes for this server constantly, depending on where the person connects to the network. And then the network, oh, that's so cool. So the network grabs whenever they connect, the Krug server connects to them, backs stuff up or whatever, but the network has gone offline and they're looking for, oh, I like that. I like it. Like a mobile, like a person moving around. Yeah. That's cool. Okay, so the server is a person. They don't know what data they have. Okay, so I guess when you accept the mission, mark experience. When you complete the mission, mark experience. And I guess when you discover the location of the server, mark XP. When you eliminate the server, mark XP. And then to complete the mission, you have to let Mr. Blank know that it's been destroyed. Yeah, a Krug node that pops up and disappears, just keeps going in and out. Yeah. And Blank has never seen the flesh shell. Blank doesn't know that. Yeah, they don't know they're a server. They don't know anything. Yeah, they don't even know. Or that they're a server at all. Only Krug high up knows that. Surgery, yo, that's how they can get the data, right? The only way to get that data is to cut it out of the yeah. When you wipe the data, mark XP. Okay, cool. Yeah, you wipe it. You take care of it. So it's in his or her brain. It's in their brain, and the players will need to get this person, either cut their brain out, kill them, and biologically destroy them completely, or hack into their brain, which they can't do. And Mr. Blank. I wonder about Mr. Blank if they're like, the server's a person, we're bringing him to you. I'm going to make a new clock for Mr. Blank's heat from Show Nintendo. So we're going to make this one just for us. So let's go ahead and GM layer this thing. And we'll GM layer this to reveal it later. This obviously is just for us. GM layer that thing. And then GM layer. So this is going to be poor Mr. Blank under fire here. Okay. Oh yeah, no, the mission's name, the mission's name is it's Operation Johnny Cash, for sure. Yeah, of course. That's too good. Good work, chat. I like it. Operation Johnny Cash. It's so fucking good. Okay. There you go. Okay. So, cool. So as this clock goes up, this is like an action clock for Mr. Blank. So what'll happen is that Mr. Blank is his fuck up is being pursued. God, I don't know. Is this maybe the mission clock? No, this is a different clock. So there's two timers because Show Nintendo eventually is going to grab Mr. Blank and be like, what did you do? And then Show Nintendo, the corporation, will get turned on to the players and they'll come after them while they're going after Krug. Yeah. I like it. Okay. So legwork here. Legwork in action. So I think, here's the thing. Johnny Cash connects to a Krug server that backs up his data, right? This is where the data backup and the data becomes impossible to break. And I guess we should switch these into GM mode too. The data is lost and it's too late. You screwed up. That's okay. We're allowed to do that. That'll be the end. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, at some point in this, Mr. Blank will probably turn on the players. But yeah, Johnny Cash connects to a Krug server that backs up his data. And legwork represents, let me get to my little countdown clock here. So this is like a combination, like extract, capture, wet work. This is a good one. I like this. Let's figure out some, let's learn some things about our NPC here. I'm going to roll randomly to determine some things about our friend John. His actual name is not going to be Johnny Cash. His name is going to be something else, but let's give him a personality. And so John, I don't know. I need like a common like Swedish last name. Yeah, he's gonna be like cybered up for sure, but not like heavily cybered. He's just a dude. He's just like a dude that works. Maybe he's a courier. Maybe he doesn't even work for Krug. Oh yeah, he's totally John Johansson. Okay. John Johansson. All right, John Johansson. White man. Age 28. Swedish. And let's roll randomly to figure out some stuff about him. So John. Let's see. Appearance. Roll D100. It's 25. Heavily tattooed. Nice. Okay. John's got some tattoos. All right. Heavily tattooed. And now remember, this is future Sweden. Don't worry about. Yeah, that's right. 2 S's. Yeah, don't worry about it being like different. This is he's not totally. He's Swedish in the same way that like anybody is. He's Swedish. Sweden has become a cultural like paradigm, not so much just like that's the thing. Yeah, he's probably like half American. Maybe his mom was American. So anyway, and then also let's give him one more. His demeanor. We'll roll for his demeanor. So roll D100. And he is 57. I don't want him to be incoherent. I don't like that. 62. That's better. 1,000-yard stare. Okay. Heavily tattooed, 1,000-yard stare. He's not all there. Okay, cool. And do I need anything else? Oh yeah, and his something that he cares about, his conversation topic. So he's particularly interested in today's youth and drugs. Okay, cool. Today's youth, drugs. Okay, all right. All right, John. So let's see. Yeah, I think his brain is just like he's a little burned out. Maybe he used to have a drug problem. I want this guy to be really sympathetic so that the players don't just like fuck him up, right? Because if he's not sympathetic, then the players will just be like, whatever, he's just a drone. Kill him, take his brain. So yeah, I don't want him to be like a Krug drone. I think he's just a courier. Yeah. So works as a courier at an Elixir owned subcompany called, I don't know, Brightco, Quick Drive, Fastnet. What should we call them? Yeah, he's like a bike courier, basically. Interserve. Right, exactly. Something like that. Securier. Something about security. Secu deliver. Yeah, something like that. Secutech. Basically, I wanted to. I guess he works for a courier service that's about like speed, but also they deal with like secure like data. Oh my god, juke. That's awesome. Juke is a really good one. Like you avoid getting caught, right? That's what juking is, like getting out of the way. I want it to be more cyber though. Juke. Maybe just juke for right now. We'll leave it at that till I think of something better. Okay. All right. So he's all about like, yeah, I think he used to be, he's been a courier a long time, right? But being a courier like takes its toll, and he started to run down, and like the kids today, they don't appreciate what it was like, when he was 21 or 22. And things were harder then. I like mercurial. I want to include that. Juke mercurial. There you go. Anyway, yeah. So the thing is, we have nothing. The players have nothing to connect him to Krug. They just don't. They're going to have to work real hard to get that. That's going to be about the legwork phase, right? Discover the location and figure this out. Then they'll figure out that he's like a real dude. And he's just like the kids like today. They're taking all these drugs, and it's not good for them. Like we could do it without the drugs. He doesn't realize he's like the guy in Ghost in the Shell who he's been ghost hacked or whatever, and like he's probably got some fake memories, and he keeps like having to like make phone calls or whatever. Like he keeps uploading, he keeps connecting. And maybe let's give him like addicted to a here's the Krug connection. Addicted to a Krug gambling website. And the gambling website is what Krug hides the injection code under. That's how they process. They've given him a cybernetic gambling problem. Oh, that's so good. So now he goes to this gambling website all the time, and he thinks he has a gambling problem. But really, Krug has programmed him to need to check in constantly to like grab data. Oh, he's in rehab for his gambling problem, which is why he dropped off the Matrix. Oh, that's so good. Which is why he hasn't connected. Oh, yeah. Boom. So he's just like betting on like horse races and stuff, and and they're like, no, gamble. He's like, no, I gotta cut this shit out. I'm losing all my money. So he's in rehab, and the rehab program is what is keeping him from connecting. And so Krug is probably after him too. Yeah, it's a race to see who finds him first. Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Wicked. Okay, so let's talk about like legwork and action here. So I guess maybe instead of him connecting to a Krug server that backs up his data, the mission ends because Krug gets to him first. Gets to John first and spirits him away. So they physically like intercept him. Okay, cool. So during legwork, the way that the clock starts to fill, let's look at my example legwork clock in here. Everything is cool at 12. They start making some noise, but nothing serious is happening yet. So what is the first thing? When we advance the legwork clock, the characters are... See, the thing is, if you don't get paid... Now, you know what? They might still get paid. So that's a thing. Okay. Let's talk about this legwork clock, because this is what the mission is really about. So they start asking questions about, oh, okay. All right. So Krug is aware someone is asking about dark servers. So they're like, wait a second, somebody's clued in. There's some asking going on about like, these dark servers. So Krug takes stock of existing what do we call these? Like meat servers? Realizes John hasn't checked in. So maybe they don't know that it's a problem, right, yet. They realize at this point it is a problem. They're like, uh-oh, something's going on. Okay, I'm into that. And then at 2100, Krug deploys drones to... okay, and he's not the only one, right? Among others. Check in on meat servers. And that's when the first thing, Krug drone support increases. So, you know, we'll mention like, oh, you know, you notice like there are more of these like these unmanned drones that kind of like floated around. I mean, it's internal. Oh my God, soft serve. That's so good. Soft serve operations. Oh my God, you're so good. So good. That's so good. Okay. So drone support increases around, I'm going to call it drone presence increased. So all they really do is they're like, okay, let's go and check on all of them. And they start working down their list, right? This is the Terminators looking for Sarah Connor. I think at the next step, Krug narrows it down to a handful of missing soft serve assets. Yeah, assets. That's what we'll call them. They're not sites. Okay. So this advances the clock again. So Krug retires several soft serve assets. Just some ones that they're like, okay, these are potentially compromised. Krug is like narrowing it down as the PCs ask more questions. And then I got to check in on these. So they hear vague rumors, so they know that it's okay. So someone's asking about servers. Then they're asking about soft serve. So they take stock of their existing ones and they realize some haven't checked in. They deploy drones to check in at 21, which is unconfirmed rumors, but they're clear. They're like, obviously someone is checking into our soft serve stuff. At 2200, they narrow it down because it's reliable information about the time, I guess, of the hit. And then Krug deploys a security team to John, to find John, like specifically, I guess, to acquire him. And then at midnight, the team it's precisely identified, advance a relevant corporate or threat clock. So Krug uses the clock or uses John, but then because I don't want, this one's tricky, like advancing these clocks because there's separate other ones. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mads has it right. Somewhere a soccer mom gets retired at a barbecue, right? Cortex bombs and what have you. Okay, well, let's look at this one. So they retire several soft serve assets. Krug at 2100 on the action clock deploys internal assets appropriate to the threat. So oh no, I know. Here we go. Krug uses a non-John asset as bait. Right? So they haven't found him yet, but they use one of the other assets. They don't retire them. They use them as bait. And this would be an opportunity for like a firefight where the players get some information that leads them to the wrong asset. I think they're going to have to figure out which one holds their data. And maybe this soccer mom, right? Maybe we get that sequence. 2200, the target calls on external asset and locks down everything under which they still have control. So total soft serve lockdown. John is John's target is acquired. John's location discovered. Krug. This is, yeah, Krug team deploys to get John. Okay. So I guess the thing here is we can have some, there's got to be a C in this word. There we go. There's some overlap, I think, between the legwork and the mission clock. Yeah, and I think that what'll happen here is whether or not the players get to John before Krug does, and if Krug uses them, and then also that they'll be like sleeper assets or whatever, like waiting to ambush them. So we need a second ambush asset. Let's come up with another one. I like the soccer mom. So let's name her. I'm gonna name her after the character from Orphan Black because she's just too good. Allison. Um, should we go all should we go all Matrix on this? Should we call her Mrs. Anderson? Yeah, let's do it. Allison Anderson. She's also Swedish. She's not heavily tattooed though. Soccer mom. She's not middle class, so she's pretty rich. So lower upper class. She is has a family. Works for. Let's say she works for a Frere sub company that does mining. No, that does construction drones. Yeah. Or I guess worked for Frere because she does family stuff. She's not a. Yeah, but she's rich. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't work. Maybe husband works. No, wife. Yeah, wife works for Elixir in their PR marketing. Let's say in their marketing department. That's cooler. Yeah, because we haven't really done much with that. All right. She is a soft serve. Now, what's her? Yeah, she also, that's the pattern. She's also addicted to a Krug gambling website and has been going to church meetings to stave off the habit. There you go. Fucking awesome. That's so good. Oh my God. So that's what they have in common. That might be the pattern the players discover. Yeah. And she's going to church meetings. She's like a Unitarian or something. And it's trying to kick this habit. Rad. Cool. Okay. Cool. So that's good. I think you discover the location of the server. I want there to be another objective here. I guess when you breach server security, like we know what this all means, right? I want it to seem like it's still a server, but like this is when you figure out who it is, you get them, wipe the data, and complete the mission, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm into it. Yeah, she's a neo-Unitarian. And it is always a gambling problem because it's all connected to that same gambling website. Okay, let's... yeah, okay, I think we know what these are. That's cool. All right, cool. I like that. I think... I don't know, what else? Do we need anything else? We've got our clocks. I kind of can envision how this could go. She's the fake out, right? I'm going to lead them to Allison first. Yeah, she's the more obvious one. Yeah, we need a... But the site would have like a name in Russian, right? Like it wouldn't be in English. It would just be like a Russian... It would be a Russian, like, basically like, you know, IP in the darknet. These people, John and Allison, don't have the technical acumen to access it normally, but something in their programming has given them like the ability to do that. It's like a darknet kind of thing, like a hidden matrix server. Yeah, let's make the action clock more about. Let's see. No, so the thing is about the 2100 is that Krug uses her as bait if we get to 2100. Yeah, God, these clocks. They're. Oh yeah, that's right. And the legwork for. Right. Okay. Yeah, this stuff's complex because I know if I didn't have the clocks, I could just run this. I would just be able to go. Yeah. I think the legwork clock is okay because it's like someone's talking about the server. They learn that someone is asking about like trying to find out about soft serve ops specifically. They're asking about, so they get paranoid. They check on all their assets. They narrow it down. They figure they account for all but a few assets. They do an inventory. They deploy a security team to go after John specifically. And then they use John as bait. Let's maybe narrow these. So to acquire all missing assets. So all at once. And they find John and they use them as bait. These are the assets as bait. And then, but this is the thing is, by the time we get to midnight, they know it's the PCs, right? Yeah. Okay. And then down here, the way this is supposed to work, if we look at the thing is, they deploy internal and external assets. I don't know. It's all internal at this point. Maybe they call in a favor like Krug does. But they don't really need a favor. They've got some stuff. Now, I don't want to attack the PCs directly at their homes. That stuff happens here. That's when this hits that's like, oh, cool, you're off doing other things. Boom. Right? And we can have, if the legwork clock gets to 2200 or whatever, the action clock continues. The action clock should be John focused. The legwork clock is character focused. So yeah. I guess let's change this one. So Krug ambushes the PCs before they can acquire, because the mission doesn't end if we get here. Before they can acquire any soft serve. Maybe that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then the mission clock here is, yeah, it's out, right? Like, John is backed up. No success. Available. You can't do it anymore. You can't. You lose the mission. John is out of their hands. Legwork stops when they figure out a target. Now, what's interesting is that I'm gonna have to play it loose and fast with this because they might go after the wrong target. Ooh, I wonder if we could do that. I wonder if we could go back into the legwork phase if they fail. They go after the wrong person. Oh, that's cool. Let's let that happen. Let's leave that there. I'm gonna lead them towards Allison. They could try to hit Allison and then realize she's not the right one, and that can give them clues to go after John. Yeah. I like that. Meanwhile, there's a countdown clock here about Mr. Blank. Now, I don't know. Let's talk about the Mr. Blank clock. Let's detail that one before we go. So, well, if the mission clock fills, if they fail this mission, then all that means is that while they were fucking around with Allison, Krug got their shit together and grabbed John, and it's over. Like, sorry guys, you spent too much time fucking around. You went the wrong way. Krug scooped you. So meanwhile, let's look over here. So this is, you done goofed, Blank. Yeah, the blank clock matters during the whole thing because this is what happens if it won't affect the mission clock necessarily, but this is what happens with the secondary Show Nintendo front as it develops. So let's see here. So Mr. Blank, I guess, show Nintendo. I'm just gonna put SOS. SOS realizes that Blank lied to them. No, I think he hasn't lied yet. Blank is stalling for time. He was given a job to go and fucking clear out the server, and he told them, or he's still stalling. I guess here's the thing: is Blank lies outright to SOS and is caught. SOS reprimands Mr. Blank. I don't know, does he resist right away, or does he just like is he just like, oh god, no, I told the characters to do this, follow them, they're doing the thing. Yeah, I think he would fold and gives up the PCs. And that's going to advance the show Nintendo clock. Okay, so that's cool. Yeah, he sells them out and spills the beans right away. So that means that at 2200, SOS puts a team on the PCs to follow them around. Ninja. It's going to be a ninja team because, god damn it, yeah. Ninja team. All right, they send ninja spies to their house. And then at 2300, what does Show Nintendo want here? Show Nintendo wants to... oh, here we go. I think Mr. Blank... Ooh, I know. Mr. Blank calls the PCs and spills his guts. And then Mr. Blank gets assassinated. Because this is about him, right? Retired. By SOS. So he calls the PCs at the last minute and he's like, please don't do it. Yeah, and that ninja team is going to follow the PCs around until they find John, and then they get involved. Mr. Blank is a spineless wimp. It's true. And then the ninja team, they want to kill John. They might be able to be convinced to help. I think that Show Nintendo Onisoft here is a tenuous ally. Yeah, and I think that's how that goes. So remember, Show Nintendo's clock, as the Mr. Blank clock fills in, it's not about making the mission harder. It's just about them pursuing their own goals, which might align. But I think what would happen would be that if they can get a hold of John, they will. In which case, let's make a note about that. So if SOS gets a hold of John, they learn everything Krug knew about the PCs. Advance their clock twice. There's the danger. There we go. So the Show Nintendo clock might advance if they get a hold of John. Yeah. Will the PCs take cred on this job for running costs, a potential payoff they have to arrange themselves? No, I think if they want money, like, this is the thing, is that Hamish didn't give us any, this isn't actually a different type of mission. It just says you don't usually get paid. So no one is getting paid here. So we don't make the get paid move. So I think that there's opportunities for money, but that's on them to hit the streets and find buyers and do all that shit. There's no staking credit on this mission. No stakes. Yeah, no stakes, no payout. We cut that. That's not an option. When they get the job, we just draw a line through some of these options. Or maybe we don't even make the get a job move, right? No, we should still make it. Yeah, no, we should still make it because the employer is identifiable, is a given, and the job pays well is off the table. So they're going to have to choose. And if they roll, it's a friend. So it makes sense. If they get a 10 plus, he'll give them intel, gear, and it doesn't attract attention. I like that. It's actually an easier version of this move in exchange. Yeah. Okay, cool. I guess we're ready. God, this is going to be a cool mission. I'm really excited. as you can tell. I'm getting all hype about this shit. So Cred Staked is a big old NA. And I think we're good to go. Tune in tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow for Operation Johnny Cash. Right here on Roll20 Presents the Sprawl. This is shaping up to be real fucking cool. Thank you so much, everybody, for your help. As always, my beloved co-GMs here in the Sprawl faction turn. We're ready to go. Prep is done. The corporations are locked and loaded. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, or I guess if you're watching this on YouTube, whenever, we'll jump into the mission. Thanks for coming, everybody. I will see you tomorrow.